different story, but here we go. Looks like we're heading to this first game, Achilios.
Yeah, ready to jump into this one. O2 Ardeont versus MVP Space. Charging into battle here on Nepal. We'll find out in just a moment what our first round is going to be on. Whether it's Shrine of Sanctum or Village, it's going to be Shrine in the end.
Indeed.
Okay, MVP Space predictably going to be a bit louder there than O2's. There's still a budding little community here.
So already the flexibility here shown. Tidala, he played the better Sombra than OneFact, who only played Sombra last week. He's now going to be playing it starting here with the Tracer, and it's going to be O2 Ardeont adapting that Element Mystic style here. But look at this, it's going to be triple DPS. They do not start two tanks here. They start the triple DPS, and no tank except Yakuza, so they're going to really have to burst down targets quickly and early if they want to have a chance at winning this point, because in the sustain war, they're certainly not winning that one, not against the
already though. Climax is going to go down as Bianca just goes forward there with the Diva and takes out that McCree. O2, they want to get the exit here, but Yaki is cutting them off. Almost gets the kill onto Rain as well. Yakuza killed on the exit, so a nice little stagger there onto the Winston as the first cap comes through for MVP Space.
There's a few ways you can use the triple DPS. It's very commonly used on Hybrid, sometimes on Escort, but almost never on Control, where the sustain war with Moira now in the picture, you always want at least two tanks because Moira is always going to gain value fighting over just 1 point. And it gets early coalescences, you're going to be able to win the longer fight because the tanks are down. You have sustainability. This is going to be very difficult to pull off here for O2 Ardeont. I have my doubts.
Jumps his way out of there, building up for that first EMP, already over halfway there. As Climax is also getting closer and closer towards that Deadeye, but he's going to be the target. They call it out, they go forward looking for the McCree. They'll get him, and now they're going to get even more than that as he chases forward here looking for Rain and Yakpung. Yakpung going to die to that pulse bomb. Yaki just taking him down, and already MVP Space starting to steamroll O2 Ardeont.
And this is a problem, you know, we saw Element Mystic, I called their name out earlier because they ran McCree on this point, but what we're seeing from O2 Ardeont is triple DPS, so there's just no protection against this really qualified dive on the side of MVP Space. Early Transcendence here to try to get into position, but where are the DPSs? Where is the damage? Deadeye shut down here.
They find one as Tidala does fall. Transcendence invested now, going to be the sound barrier as well as Undying gets the coalescence ready to go. We'll see if they want to go ahead and use that one or just abandon the fight because Bianca's already been knocked out of that mech and will be taken down. Oberon jumps in. Primal Rage not available here for him, so has to kite his way back, and O2 will be able to flip the point. They even get a couple kills here on the exit as Ivy takes a 2K.
And the Coalescence, so they shut down Climax from using his Deadeye, but he still did enough damage there to the Diva. He holds the Deadeye still. He walked up looking for an angle there. That's why they had Bianca rush in to try to shut him down, but he did so much damage there in the interim. So the damage finally came through. They finally were able to burst down the aggressive tanks of space. This is the first fight where the DPS is one of the first heroes to die for O2 Ardeont.
Well, MVP Space, they've gone back in here despite the fact that O2 isn't even completely playing it onto the point. They put the sound barrier down as they just try to get the pass flipped. They'll take down Yakpung. And now they're looking for Ivy. Recall comes through. He stays alive here for the moment as Yaki is just hunting in, finds Stellar, takes him out. And that will be the flip, 75% now here for MVP Space as they charge forward, keeping O2 contained back towards the spawn.
Yeah, exactly. Now that they have this containment setup, it's going to be even more difficult for O2 Ardeont to burst down.
Yaki's around the back, pulse bomb gets thrown in there, finds Rain, even though the stick didn't even happen. Would have loved to have gotten Climax there, I'm sure. To just go ahead and further deny that Deadeye that has not come out yet.
Yeah, they're just trying to stop him from getting into position to even use it, which is it's so difficult. Okay, Transcendence again here to try to force the DPS into the point. This is how they won the fight last time, to break down the tank.
But they're not even getting in onto the point. It's literally just to try to stay alive. They do manage to get Tidala in all of this as we see Yakpung pop that Primal Rage. Yaki goes around the back, would love to get rid of Violet yet again. Hasn't found him, but Stellar falls as Undying goes off with the Coalescence. Keeps Bianca alive here in the Baby Demon form. I'll push forward, try to pop that bubble. And Oberon is just doing some serious work here, kills the enemies, and the Rain is trying to build up desperately for that sound barrier to continue this overtime push, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Yakpung goes down, OT meter does plummet, and MVP Space will take Shrine.
The Zenyatta over the Moira is absolutely the correct choice when you're running triple DPS because you're trying to discord and kill the tanks. And that was exactly the one time they were able to flip the point. It was done exactly that way. Baited a fight on the staircase next to the control point, then kited back, discorded the Winston. Oberon burst him down first, then went into the kill on the Diva. Then they were able to kill the squishies in the back line. Discordor makes that so much easier. This, I feel, though, is some sort of roster problem or setup problem here going to this first point. I don't think ideally they would ever want to run this triple DPS. They are, however, doing it. They're failing thus far.
They're sticking through.
But, you know, I want to judge this really hard, and I guess to a certain extent I already have, but let's see if they can show us a little bit more of this tank burst, if they can set up some more traps here for MVP Space and make this happen.
Well, if nothing else, these guys are stubborn and dedicated. As O2 starts pushing forward here yet again. Maybe Climax will just use a Deadeye this time around. We'll find out. Already a couple nice shots going through, getting those body hits onto the squishier members of MVP Space, but no kills to be found. You can see they're still kiting so far back over towards the spawn. They have to get into the point to deny the cap going through to MVP Space, but they won't do it in time. First cap comes in, Oberon goes forward, Flashbang comes down, but it doesn't matter because the kills are there for MVP. 2 members dead, looking for more. Yakpun goes up, he comes back down, and they can just chase forward here into the side rooms and try to finish them off, get those staggers. They'll get Climax, can't quite get the Winston, but the damage is done. The cap's there, MVP Space moving upward.
You can see in Climax's first-person view, he was chipping to some of the tanks. He was able to do a lot of damage. He's nearly with that Deadeye, but he just doesn't have the protection. All it takes is either a backline pick, like we've been seeing over and over by Yaki, or a heavy dive onto the DPS that are split into 3 different locations to break through. Yakpung doesn't have. Okay, this is a cool idea. Yakpung doesn't have the ability to peel for all 3 DPS. He just simply cannot do it.
They move their way in. They actually don't stay in onto the point. They just completely go over to try to collapse it onto Bianca. They do get the flip in the end. Climax has been punished. Wolf Bomb thrown in, finds a stick, gets Oberon, jumps away quite nicely there to deny any further kills onto his team members. As Yaki will go ahead, win out that fight. But Ivy, he dashes in, he finds Fuse. The Dragon Blade gets undone and Tidala. And O2 will be able to command control over this point.
Obviously, Ivy has a lot of ways to build Dragon Blade safely against the composition of MVP Space because there's 2 tanks, right? So he has 2 easy targets that both Climax and Ivy are looking to build ultimates versus these tanks, so they just use them to flip the point. The back cap there from Stellar forced MVP Space out of their position they were in. They came in with a more or less sloppy attack to try to regain position, and then the DPS burst them down. Ivy with the last Dragon Blade there, well used. They still have an ult advantage as well.
MVP now moving forward, sound barrier comes through, barely keeps Bianca in the mech as Tidala manages to find that hack in. No kills to be found yet. We're on with the Primal Rage, smacking a couple people around, but Point still in control of O2, and they have ticked up 56% now. So winning out over MVP Space as they still struggle to try to get in onto the point. And Oberon going down is very costly here for the side of MVP Space. They do not have that self-destruct from Bianca, so buying space for themselves in the point is pretty much impossible here. No Primal Rage to displace, no self-destruct to push them back. Fuse dies, MVP, they're just gonna have to wait for another one.
Yep, they do grab Ivy here for the stagger, but it doesn't look like they're gonna be able to flip this unless Yaki pops off, and
they're in it.
All crosshairs are on him. All right, MVP Space needs to be careful about getting staggered right now. Oberon goes down, and you know what? This is looking like this triple DPS might actually secure a spot here. Bianca, he gets DMEC. That almost seals the deal. Space needs to regroup, use this EMP. I don't know what this Transcendence was about. They need to use this EMP to get through. Deadeye, shut down.
Yeah, Bianca just moving forward. Good defense matrix, but might just get knocked out of the mech there in the meantime as he tries to deny that one. Yeah, Climax will be able to take him down, and Ivy has another Dragon Blade, finds one there onto Undyne. Fuse is already dead. Tidala will be able to trade one back as they get the flip in OT, but they're just struggling to stay alive. Tidala's dead. Oberon is the only one. He's got a sliver of HP. They're going to get the flip. This might just be it, but we might go to a 3rd round here on the ball.
Looks like it. One last attempt by Oberon, totally shut down. The rest of the members already split spawned from their staggers, and we are going to go to that 3rd point here, going to Sanctum. Now, I feel like Sanctum is a point where this is going to be the most difficult to pull off on the side of O2 Ardeont with the composition they are running the triple DPS, because there's a lot of choke points, there's a lot of ways for Dive to succeed. Long range hit scan coming out from McCree, in this case Climax playing that, could be running the Soldier if they want to continue to do this when we head into Sanctum. Is going to have a hard time getting line of sight because it's going to be dove upon by the Winston, by the Diva. High mobility is absolutely at a premium on this map, and they're just simply not going to have it. And already you can see the adaptation here coming through from MVP Space. They're going to be running that exact same comp we saw Element Mystic run here, with the exception of Yaki being on the Soldier rather than the McCree. And they're going to use this to set up against the triple DPS. We have Yakpung solo tank Diva now for the approach.
It's going to be very necessary here with all the grenades coming through from Tidala. Just shoot them up with that defense matrix and help keep everybody safe. Speaking of which, Stellar going rather low, but won't get picked off yet. But Tidala is just going to be building up steadily for that Riptire.
This setup for MVP Space forces the approach for O2 Ardeont, which means they have to come to the point, which is what their comp is weakest at doing. They have the Genji, that's all they really have in terms of dive. Getting onto this is going to be virtually impossible, as Climax can't even get a line of sight. He's yanked up by the Hulk. Is taking massive damage on both sides, Junkrat and the Tracer. He goes down.
Yeah, Yaki finds that kill. And I actually really like the possible setup here with the Hulk. Say that as Tidala does get taken down, but traded out for Stellar. Can go ahead and use the Hulk, drag multiple members up, and hit them with the Helix rockets. Just get that nice spread of damage going through on the side of MVP Space, as well as Tidala just constantly sieging with the grenades. So as long as it's well communicated, they really can blow up multiple members at once. You see Tidala has built up very rapidly for this Riptire. He's already got it set to go.
Climax wants to punish the positioning here of Yaki with this Widow, but unfortunately he's just not able to get into a good enough line of sight here because, hold that thought, it's going to be a Riptire, that's going to shut down Ivy, but he can't get into a good enough line of sight because there's too much setup to defend. There's the shields coming through from Oberon, the kind of shield setup on the ground, the Orisa shields. Okay, that it wasn't set up in this case. Does find a line of sight. But even if he gets a pick, they need more because they can't break this point. If he gets 2 kills, 3 kills, maybe.
But that's just going to be, yeah, the res coming down. Massive spray of bullets out from Oberon combined with Undyne there on the right clicks. They go ahead, they take him down, they punish Violet as well. O2 getting onto this point, like you said, they are not really structured for this, and the Widowmaker still doesn't really help them out. Multiple ultimates now available, both supports having theirs. Rain likely going to have to go ahead, save the sound barrier, chain in after Violet just to get in onto the point. Even then, it's not guaranteed success.
Notice how much the Junkrat can zone even a Tracer out from getting the flank. They can't approach directly. Notice the frustration here for Stellar.
There's no way Stellar, yeah, he lands straight in onto that grenade. He goes down. Yaki here does have that attack visor, takes down Violet, and this might just be the 100-0 for MVP Space to go ahead and finish off Nepal. Climax doing what he can, but a very fearless Soldier pushes up, now has a barrier to back him up. Bionic Field, the healing's in. Dragon Blade out from Ivy as he's just back over here by the point. Tries to get the kill in on the Tidala, who will actually just kill Climax with a trap.
Well, there you go.
Very strange turn of events.
Well, MVP Space basically were in the trenches. They set up the bunker. They had the Orisa shield. They had this setup where Yaki could poke out and harass, but they were otherwise just using Junkrat for peel. And with triple DPS, you can't get line of sight against the Orisa shields. They try to punish Yaki. Then they decide to try to dive, and they're basically just running infantry at a bunker filled with, you know, machine guns. They're running in, trying to find a way, and they can't dive. That shot that we had of Stellar on the Tracer, I think, summed up everything perfectly. He's trying to go around the backside. Junkrat shuts him down. Can't get through, can't win the 1v1. He turns to the right, sees an Orisa shield, takes a ton of damage, has to recall. There's no way in, there's nothing they can do. And this triple DPS comp is not meta for a reason. They try to break the meta. They tried to run an unusual composition here on Control. I would like to see a substitution here as we head into hybrid, because I feel like these problems will further compound in this meta as we head into a map where you need to have a 2-and-2-and-2 composition. There are some exceptions, obviously, with King's Row and like quad tank, but
yeah, a lot of shifting around in the booth here on the side of O2. And
so
it seems like we will have Humbaba coming in. Seems like Ivy going to be subbed out very swiftly. So tried something, a bit of an experimentation there on Control that well, falls short. They managed to get the point onto Village, but then the 100-0 on Sanctum, like you said, it's just not structured for that. They could have tried to have run something with the triple DPS, but the ones that they had picked, just not good enough to get in onto the point.
Yeah, it's if they ran like Genji, Sombra, and Tracer, there's like maybe a way they could burst down some of these targets.
Drop in EMP, the barrier's gone, and then you try to blow people up from there.
Yeah, there's ways you can do it, but running the McCree, for example, was just never going to find an angle there, was not going to work very well on the first 2 points. They got a good fight where they actually were able to burst down the tanks on the second point on Village, and then MVP Space actually came in several times with their tanks. I think a little bit underestimating the DPS potential that was there, because both tanks came in solo and just got burst down, which is exactly what the composition of O2 Ardeont was designed to do. I'm glad to know this is not just a problem where like Hubaba's sick or something and they had to do like a weird flex with triple DPS. He's back in. Gonna see some more normal strategies moving forward. We did have them pick Numbani last time. No, it was picked against them. They have it set as the map they would like to pick today if they lose the first map. It's where we saw their lackluster defense with Climax on the Soldier on the high ground. Yeah. So hopefully that's improved today, or they're going to face similar problems to what they just did.
It was, yeah, that was a really, really rough Numbani coming through from both of those sides when they took on WGS. So maybe a bit cleaner here, but MVP looking pretty commanding there on Nepal. So O2 with Humbaba being swapped in should be a bit more stable. Probably just going to go back to those the 2-2-2 coming through, and we'll see if they can find some success with that here with their map pick. Humbaba just getting situated, and yes, it was Ivy who has been subbed out. So we'll have him sitting down. So no Genji from him is going to be the thing. That's going to be the big penalty for the side of O2 Ardeont, because he did have some good moments, and Numbani is one of those maps where you can run that Genji on attack. So a little bit surprising to see that perhaps he is the one being sat.
Yeah, it would mean that if they want to run Genji, it would have to be a flex for either Stellar or Climax. But I think they're going to try to use the Soldier again, potentially the McCree, but Soldier has been the safer option. He's got more sustain against dive, and we know that it's very likely to be Tracer, Genji, or Genji Sombra on the attack for MVP with the step they have here with Ty Dollar. So that's what you could expect to see. So if you have the Soldier over the McCree as that, at least that extra healing. They need to make sure that they protect him better, though, than what happened against WGS Laurels 9, where he was sniped by Tracers repeatedly. He was not able to hold the high ground for more than a few seconds. If you're going to roll a Soldier comp, everything you do needs to be revolve around making sure the Soldier has high ground. Yeah. Because if he jumps down, and usually he jumps down after he's already used his self-healing, he's not going to last very long on the ground. If he survives at all, he won't be doing damage. You're going to lose the longer fight. You're going to lose your tanks. You're going to lose point A. You need to make sure he can survive long enough to at least get attack visor. Otherwise, the pick wasn't worth it.
I mean, when you run that sort of composition, because it's usually accompanied alongside the Ana for the healing, so she can heal him across high ground to high ground. But you really do just give the enemy team two different options of what they can target. If the Ana goes in, or if they jump in onto the Ana, they kill her, then suddenly the Soldier's healing is gone. He's that much more vulnerable, and you can just kind of pick them off one after the other, whereas if you get the Soldier, Ana can at least still play around everything else. So I think if you target that first, you almost will find success just about every single time. As long as you go in, don't take too many losses as you kill that Ana, everything just kind of unravels from there.
And that's why Metabellum on Numbani ran the Junkrat with the Soldier to have extra peel on the opposite side of the Soldier to help protect the Ana a little bit. Obviously, if you bio-grenade the divers and the Soldier is not under duress, we are going to Numbani. If the Soldier is not under duress on the other side, then he can actually hit everyone who's heal denied by the biotic grenade from across the map. So that's another reason why, if you're Jaehong, you can sleep dart the dive that's coming at you. You're going to have a good time. We're not there yet for these two teams, but I'd say that there's a lot of potential for Soldier here, especially with not one fact on the roster, but of course Tidal. He could actually protect Yaki. If Yaki already showed the Soldier there on Nepal, so my guess is that's where we're going in terms of compositions here. So dive versus Soldier, not dive versus dive, as we saw when MVP Space faced off against Runaway on Eichenwald. So a little bit different of a skill set required for this map.
Well, it's already been a pretty swift night for us there, with the first series ending rather quickly. Could just be a similar story unless O2 with Humbaba coming back in changes things up enough for them to take down MVP Space. Map pick here, Numbani, MVP Space. They favor King's Row, so very different tastes as far as the hybrid map is concerned. So maybe that'll be enough to offset MVP here as we get ready to move forward. There's also Eichenwald last week, if you do recall.
Yeah.
Runaway finally got a win.
That's right. Got a second one too. So they're Eichenwald killers right now. All right, so from the setup here, despite everything I just ranted about and everything we saw from these two teams, we have, oh, I was gonna say we have no soldier, but we do now. Climax locks it in.
He's gonna be swapping around, so.
Yeah, he's trolling me. And he's all, this is attack, so of course he won't be running the soldier on attack. That was tried by WGS, did not work.
Yeah, not gonna be the greatest thing, but yeah, the auto's still gonna be there for MVP space alongside Tidala with the Genji and Yaki still rocking the Tracer. A bit more standard for them. We'll see how quickly Tidala can build it for the Dragon Blade. If he can't get it very swiftly, then perhaps O2 will be able to get this first point very quickly.
Yep. But liking Tidala on this soldier, on this Genji rather than the soldier Junkrat in terms of what they're up against, because it's going to be much easier to counter dive with your own dive.
First tick nearly goes through there. Bianca manages to stand onto the point to interrupt that one as Yakpung had already fallen. So O2 just have to go ahead and regroup right off the bat.
44% build of EMP, not ideal, but still not the worst case scenario. Surviving as well means that you can continue to poke here and build up that charge.
Getting that first tick would have been so great for O2. Lose the Winston, but still manage to get that 33%. They fall just shy of that one as they go in for the dive. Discord Orb thrown down yet again here onto Yakpung. He's not going to go down yet, but Humbaba has already been knocked out of the mech as Tidala dashes through. Finds success there, but he'll get punished by Climax in the end, who now has that pulse bomb ready to go. It's going to be used. Does manage to find Undyne as Overwatch goes forward with that nano boost, but he just gets focused down. Discord Orb from Violet doing so much work to take him out. Now MVP space, gonna have to try to get back in onto the point, but they might just have to surrender this. Already the second tick about to come through. Tidala does have the Dragon Blade, but they might just be surrendering. No, last second contest comes in, they get the minor delay, and now everyone will go forward. Violet taking out Yaki punished as well. And Tidala, he's got the Dragon Blade, pooped away from the Lucio, can't get the hits in, the pop Humbaba out. He should be going down shortly, but the hack comes through here. This is going to be left clicking away. Great contest here from MVP Space. They managed to delay, and O2 Ardeont looks like they're going to have to fall back.
Everything that MVP Space just did was risky, but so well executed. They decided to drop down the low ground with Fuse. He was able to empower enough healing there to help win the tank fight. They end up losing the point, but Oberon gets nano boosted. They commit long enough to get the Dragon Blade for Tidala. He commits it, they buy enough time. Risky though, had that failed, they would have had no ultimates for the next street phase, but it works out in the end. Now gonna pop that Transcendence.
Yeah, Violet goes ahead, uses that one. They have the sound barrier ready to go. Here from Rain as well. We'll just throw it down right as that Transcendence gets ready to expire, so they can stay in the fight, and already has profited them quite a bit here as Bianca's dead. Oberon goes low, even with that primal rage. The hack's just denying so much away from him. You can see Undyne get the shields back just in time to stay in the fight and try to keep Oberon here alive. He'll jump back up, gets topped up, still in contesting the point, so no flip coming through, but finally we'll have it there with just over a minute remaining. So 3:40 on the clock as they get ready to go into the streets phase.
Fuse showing a clinic on crisis management for Ana there, getting knocked off the top twice, still maintaining enough heals to keep his team alive, to buy time, then helped Idol build a second Dragon Blade, which he is about to have now, but also a second nano to keep Oberon alive. This is not a full hold for MVP Space, but they bought so much time. Fantastic time burning here with the anti-dive proposition they're running.
Well, EMP gonna go ahead and get thrown down there by Stellar, but it seems like nobody is really there to capitalize. A couple members went forward and Oberon will get picked off, but that's just because of the Discord Orb really coming through. Yakpung goes forward, finds Undyne. Tidala now gonna go down. Diva Bomb in, Yaki falls, and really good control here from O2 as they just keep this payload moving. A very delayed team wipe comes in. They're gonna gain a lot of distance.
Yaki is underperforming on this Tracer on Numbani right now. He's been killed by Rain several times, once by Violet. He's not been able to have any impactful pulse bombs. Ends up overextending to try to duel Stellar, loses it, dies to the self-destruct with no recall. Very aggressive Tracer play, but not hitting the mark at this moment.
Focus fire there. Oberon goes dangerously low, barely survives the primal rage, and will just get taken down to the S. He jumps onto the high ground. Everybody just turns in as soon as that Discord Orb comes through, but now Tidala here with that Dragon Blade. There's just too many people in one spot. Does not want to dash into that, just takes down Rain. That's about all he's going to get as he gets taken out by Stellar, who's come up with a double, knocking Bianca there out of the mech. EMP thrown in, looking for the Lucio. Fuse can't wall ride. Undyne barely stays alive. Got a health pack off screen to actually stick in there. But MVP Space will not go down without a fight. They're still trying to keep this payload from rolling in. 0.12 meters is all that they need. Lucio's traded out. O2 still grinding away, and Stellar just sprays everybody down, one after the other. Now looking for Bianca yet again. He'll jump forward, has almost no HP left to his name. Goes up onto the high ground, has a fantastic position to spray from. Gets a bunch of damage there onto Bianca, who drops down the Diva Bomb, but Stellar, peeked over the edges. Is it safe? The answer is no. He will go down in MVP Space in this massive back and forth battle. Will manage to take control.
That almost felt comical because he was on fire. He was doing so much for his team, building several EMPs, having some fantastic ones. Tidal, of course, to switch over to the Sombra himself during all of this to try to halt this cart. We'll be looking for some harassment in the back line. Stellar has been outperforming versus Yaki in that department right now, though, has caught him several times. Sound barrier used early here before the EMP, so that's actually a big problem. Here comes the EMP, no barrier this time.
That one inside Alia following up, but both Transcendences will be used on either side as the dueling Zenyatta's go through. Hack comes down there onto Stellar, but they haven't been able to fall for the kill. He gets the health back and stays in the fight. MVP Space, go ahead, throw down that sound barrier from Fuse. We can see Undyne, he has to kite all the way back here because he's just not safe, but Oberon is trying to create space for the Zenyatta to excel. 2 kills go over to him for the payload. It connected into B, and now MVP Space. It's going to be their last stand as they get ready to defend here. 2 minutes on the clock for Ardeont to make it to C.
That was their best usage of ult so far, forcing the barrier out, then getting the EMP afterwards. That meant that they could trade Transcendence when they were down on ultimates, but their ult economy otherwise has been pretty sloppy this game. Oberon overextending. Now they're hacked. This could be a huge push now.
Another one there. Stellar barely survived that. Managed to jump back with about 3 HP left on the bar, and they get Oberon in the end. Climax. Hack himself goes in, finds the stick. Fuse is gone. Yeah, almost got Undyne as well, because we know that these supports like to stick around together. We'll be able to finish him off, and Yaki comes in from behind to get rid of Climax, but not before he pops Bianca out of the mech, which makes it very easy for Yakupon to go ahead and scoop up the kill there onto the Baby Diva. Sound barrier out from Rain, just connected onto a few members, but Tidal completely canceled that one out with his own EMP. They swiftly pick up the kills. O2, they get so very close to completing this. Now it's a minute on the clock, 1.53 meters left to go. The rollback should be starting soon.
I like the setup here, though, with the Ana. It's going to allow for so much heal deny. Their whole focus is on the EMP, on the hacks of the supports. We've seen Tidal get in there repeatedly. Even just the threat of an EMP forcing Transcendences consistently here on Numbani. When they have Fuse to biotic grenade, when the dive comes through, Oberon, who's been underperforming, is going to have an easier time when they can out-heal. Just going to be a harass attempt. Barely gets back with that translocator before he's
coming down. Oberon's already dead. Yaki throws down that pulse bomb, but doesn't find anything for it. He needed that to shut down this push. O2 now finding a way back in. 25 seconds left as they move up over towards the cart. Climax trying to duke it out here with Tidal. Gets hacked. Goes low, but manages to stay alive. Undyne is used that Transcendence as O2 kites back around the corner, but it's only for a moment as they get ready to charge forward one last time.
Okay, this is going to be their last chance. They've got a lot of tools here. They force out that Transcendence, as you say. The best bet here is going to be the nanoed Winston. Look for that here. He's going to nano him before the primal rage.
He's jumping in. He's looking for violence. They find him. That's a huge opening. Now they need to get Rain before that sound barrier comes through. Maybe it won't even matter. 3-4 kills come in. Fuse manages to take out the enemy Lucio with a bionic grenade of all things. Self-destruct thrown down. Yaki will get himself out to safety and take down Umbaba before he can remech. Yakupon is all by himself. But not for long, he'll go ahead and join his friends in the afterlife. MVP Space managed to maintain the hold, but dangerously close was O2. They nearly got to completion.
I mean, with how we're seeing Oberon play, my MVP for this defense, and potentially if this series continues to be played this way, might just actually be the Ana coming in through here from Fuse. He keeps Oberon alive so much. Perfect usage every time of the nano boost. Whenever he has it, too. By the time he's building nano boost faster than we've seen anyone build it so far in Contenders. Faster than Amy when he was playing it with Haksal. Faster than Aim God. He's really coming up strong, keeping Oberon alive, who's had a pretty underwhelming Winston tonight. We do not want to see that, KD, if you're an MVP Space fan.
Yeah.
But what we are seeing, though, is with his aggressive tendencies, Fuse able to mitigate some of the damage against him, allow him to find extra value, and in that last fight, get those picks onto the support there with the nano coming through. He did get hacked, but he had already done what he needed to do. Eliminating the supports meant they won the fight. The EMP coming through on the other side meant that obviously from Stellar he was unable to Primal Rage to stay alive and died. But the fight was won. That was the end of the defense. And it was the clutch switch to the Ana that kept this team going, kept it alive, kept the heals coming onto Oberon at the end, where they had lost all momentum when he was on the Lucio. Bringing it back, very well played. Good positioning, by the way, on the Lucio against the EMPs of Stellar. Same with Undyne. It's been one of the big stories, obviously, ever since Sombra became meta with Twilight and Season 2 promotions for Season 3 of Apex, making sure your Lucio and your Zenyatta are in position to give the support ultimates after the EMP comes down. Everyone knows that famous Toby clip on Volskaya. You've got to be like Toby. You've got to be able to give those support ultimates, and Fuse has been delivering tonight.
Well, MVP Space need to go the distance to get the completion on Navani. They will go ahead and lead the series 2-0.
Climax with the soldier defense, just like we saw with WGS, did not work out last time. Let's see if with the Sombra comp here of Space, they can make it better.
Being to poke forward now, MVP Space wrapping around from the left-hand side. Come out from the basement, they find Stellar. Yaki's alone in the back here so far. Needs to get over to his squad, will be able to do so. Defense Matrix set up to keep him alive. And Tidala, he's been picked off, and Baba just turns the rockets and burns him down.
Yeah, not a coordinated dive from Space. They actually, I think they might change to Genji. Nope, Tidala's gonna stick with this. They actually just kind of poked in, built some ult charge, and checked out the setup of O2 Ardeont. They didn't actually do a coordinated dive to the high ground. That's why Ardeont had no problems holding onto the high ground. They're still up there. Here comes their first attempt. Up onto the high ground now. Climax is the target.
Yeah, recall has to come through there from Yaki though, so that damage not going to be enough to try to take down Violet, even though he's still dangerously low. The shield's now coming through as he gets that passive healing in. Climax going to take a bit of damage. He's been forced off that high ground, but Bianca's gone, so is Undyne. And MVP Space, they will be held at bay here for now. Not even a single thing coming through. Just got about halfway there, but they can't complete it.
The only reason why Climax went onto the low ground here at the end of the fight was to help the extra DPS to have to give the extra DPS to try to get some staggered deaths on the side of MVP Space. Walks up for free. The dive we're seeing from MVP Space is a lot harder to execute than what we saw from WGS Laurel's 9 because they're not running a Genji. They don't have Sky to deal with here. It's just Tidala looking for EMP charge. That's going to be a problem once it's ready, but they're doing a great job of minimizing the effect of the Sombra now. And Climax is just doing free damage here. Fish in the barrel is what he's shooting at right now. Not contested in the slightest, as you can see.
We're about to look at 4 ultimates here available for MVP Space. Undyne uses the Transcendence, but it's too late. Oberon has already gone down. Tech Visor not even needed to be used here by Climax. It just goes shot after shot straight into the members of MVP Space. Undyne will die. Ultimate used for no gain, not even a single tick.
Yeah, and you know, support ultimates were used. Undyne and Violet traded. They're going to switch Undyne actually to the Moira, interestingly enough. That might be what they try to use to help break this, to give the extra healing to the tanks. But Tidala's EMP is their only real wild card here to try to make this happen. Here comes a dive, Bianca and Oberon up here. Counter dive coming through from Yapung. This fight looks like it's already over. EMP from Stellar totally whiffs, but the tanks of MVP Space are too low to fight.
Yeah, really odd one, but they're still going to be winning this fight in the end as Undyne has already been taken out. Fuse is going to go ahead and follow suit as Oberon and Bianca get picked off. Beautiful little stagger there. They can just leave the Baby Diva. Bianca going to have to get to a point where he can jump off the map or go back into the spawn, swap out and lose whatever percentage he had.
It's a lot of wasted time. The one saving grace for Space is they got the Tac Visor, they got the EMP. The EMP could ruin their entire push. But they are, again, playing greedy and risky here. They need to do everything with this push or they lose the map, period. Nothing else to say. So Tidala needs this to be perfect. He's already spotted. Can't make this the EMP. Time's running out right now. Good setup here. Look at how spread everyone is on the side of O2 Ardeont to minimize EMP value.
Oberon goes for it. Sound barrier out from Fuse to help get them into the fight. Primal range is going to be invested as well. As Oberon is just on containment duty, trying to keep everybody in off the point. One tick comes through, but they need so much more than that if they want to find success. And Baba goes into the back room. He's going to get taken down. Tidala throws down the EMP. But that self-destruct takes out the Sombra. Of all things, couldn't jump back with that translocator. And Fuse is also going to get punished. Baba back into the mech, just ripping apart the members of MVP. No second tick. And I think that this might just be a full hold by O2 on their map pick.
They put all their eggs into Tidal's EMP basket, man. Not going to be enough. Overtime will tick in.
They managed to get it, but Yaki immediately goes down. The Discord orb comes through. Now flips over onto Bianca, who's out of the mech. Climax up on the high ground. He's caught. That tac visor ready to go. Will kill Oberon in mid, leave an MVP space. They get one final tag in here as Tidal is all on his lonesome, but it's just not going to be enough. They will very likely go down here as Fuse gets killed. Moira just now arriving, but just a bit too late. Tied up 1-1, 0-2, full hold.
When Climax met the dive of WGS Laurel's 9 with Sky on the Genji, it was a much tougher time. Sky came in, they had very coordinated dive to burst down Climax. He never died, I don't think even a single time against WGS, but he always had to leave the high ground. Everyone got dispersed, and WGS both times in the first round and in the extra round took it on first push. For some reason, even though Tidal is a fantastic Genji and we have those games to watch and study, and it's the same composition, MVP Space's coach still decided that it was for the best to run Tidal on the Sombra. He only had one EMP throughout that entire push, was not the one he needed. He died immediately afterwards to a remeching D.Va, was not in the right state of mind. And there he is, the MVP Space coach, former coach of MVP Black, and MVP Miracle, of course, and MVP Sky of Heroes of the Storm. 3 Heroes of the Storm teams that have World Championship success. He coached this team through trials to get second place. And now, you know, he made a choice. He made a tough choice to have one fact sit on the bench, the more experienced player here. But Tidal coming in, but Tidal on the Sombra did not give them the success they were looking for, did not give them the dive that WGS had to crush Climax on that first point.
And that's going to be the question is, do we just see a roster swap coming in here immediately for MVP Space to try to regain control, get that lead on Assault? That's my question as we get ready to go into the break.
They subbed a Tidal in only for Assault on Lunar Colony in the match against Runaway. So if they want to put him in on play Junkrat continuously, I think that's a good way to go about this. If they want to run Reaper composition on Lunar Colony, if that's going to be their map pick, then maybe sub one fact back in, run a more balanced composition in that way, protect the Reaper. It really just depends on where they want to go and what comp they want to run. I personally would like to see Tidal in. And I'm not even saying I don't want him to play Sombra, but against this comp on Numbani, the Sombra was never going to have as much success as coordinated Genji dive.
Well, really good victory there for O2, getting the full hold on Numbani point 8 with their map pick. So very dominant performance from those guys. Go ahead and take a look at our first 2 maps here, some replays. Yaki was doing excellent work on the Tracer here with on Nepal. But then it just kind of fell to the wayside when it came down to Numbani.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't talk about that too much. On the defense on Numbani, he really struggled, but when it came to offense, you know, it was a different story entirely. It didn't matter though because they couldn't get in there and burst. Climax finding some great windows here. I feel like Climax is suddenly becoming this really strong player that we may have underestimated because the dive from WGS really shut him down every time. But his long-range hit scan on both the McCree, even though it was triple DPS, and also now on the Soldier, looks pretty good when he's up against a comp that's not totally shutting him down. It allows him to breathe. His accuracy is good. The defensive setup was much improved this time than the one we saw last time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really nicely improved from him. Climax popping off just a little bit there, but needs a lot more than that if they want to close out the series. So have to go up against MVP Space's map choice. We're going to find out what that is when we come back from the break, guys. So don't go anywhere. Be back.